Okay, here we go. Let's start. Everything's working, everything's fine. I hope that everything's working. Okay, let me check a few stuff before we start. Just a few stuff. Everything's nice. Let me just check a few stuff. I hope it's working. Okay, the test is working. Fine, everything is nice. Now, just a few settings. And there we go. Poof.
What's going on, guys? Dawko back again. Hope you're
Okay,
fantastic today.
nice.
And welcome to the interview with Scott Cawthon.
We're doing a live stream.
So excited and nervous at the same time.
Same.
I'm so
Same.
freaking nervous.
Hey
for
lads.
this.
Hello everyone.
It's going to be great. I've got a bunch of questions to ask.
A lot of questions.
From all of the games. So
Let's
Fnaf
start
1
this.
through till Ultimate Custom Night. And the future
Okay.
as well. So we're going to ask him some future updates, what he's planning.
Hell, finally.
And,
Hello everyone.
Stuff about
Hey
himself
lads.
as well. So it's going to be a great interview.
An interview.
Please understand as well that I've got a lot of questions, but I couldn't ask
Definitely.
everybody's, of course. I got like literally
Hey, lads.
10,000 questions from you
How are
guys.
ya?
So I had to pick each ones, and I gave some
Oh,
of the
lads,
questions,
hello.
and we've reviewed
Nobody
them
who
together
joined.
for the ones he wants to answer. Okay? So
Okay.
yeah, that's all I need to say. Thank you so much for the support, and again, thank you, Scott, for the opportunity
hi.
to give you an interview. I am
Scott
incredibly
Cawthon interview.
nervous. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm incredibly grateful
That's
to
true.
you guys and Scott as well, and this franchise. Happy anniversary to Fnaf.
Now, 4 anniversary.
Years today.
4
It's
years.
insane. Let's go.
Let's do this. Oh wait, is this gonna be like literally?
Hello?
Hello?
No,
Hello,
where is
hello.
Scott himself?
If you're hearing this, that means that you beat 50/20 mode, and I have to do an
Hello,
interview
hello.
now, which I'm kind of uncomfortable with, but I'm going to do it. Forget it. Okay, I'm done with the phone guy shtick. So
Is this? Wait, where is Scott?
I was going to try and keep it going for a while, but no, I think I'll just end it right there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect.
So how are you doing today, Lewis?
I am very scared and nervous.
Let me know if
Because,
you
you
can
know,
hear the
No,
sound
no,
perfectly.
that's
Lower and
great.
up, or if
Yeah,
you
I'm,
hear perfectly,
I'm
let me
a
know.
little anxious about this too, because I tend to ramble on with my answers.
Just want to know if you
sometimes,
hear the
but
voice.
I haven't prepared any answers for this. I'm just going to try to.
Oh, Scott doesn't
speak from
show
the
his
heart and
voice,
just,
so I mean face.
talk about
Okay.
some stuff, and yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, awesome. Because today is the 4-year anniversary of Five Nights at
Yesterday,
Freddy's.
but still,
So,
we can celebrate.
4 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, 4 years.
And we'll just get straight
Sound is
into
okay,
it.
okay.
So the first game, so
I can
4
barely
years
hear
since
him.
Five
Wait,
Nights
you can
at
barely
Freddy's
hear me?
1, we're going to go straight into that. So
Tell me if you
the
hear me
first
and the
question
video.
I'd love to ask you, kick it off with, how did you think of the original designs of the animatronics?
You can't hear?
So the original gang.
The main three characters, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, those designs just kind of.
I can hear perfectly, I don't know.
I didn't really plan ahead like what animals they should be.
For me,
Those
it
three just kind of
sounds
seemed
alright,
natural to
okay.
me for some reason.
Mhm.
You know, the only one I really struggled with was trying to think of the fourth character. You know, who
The
would be on
Fnaf
a separate
characters,
little
okay.
stage, kind of by himself.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember all the options that I originally was kind of debating between. I mean, one
The
of them,
phone
one
guy.
of the contenders was a fox,
Definitely.
obviously, which ended up winning. The other one was a wolf. Another one was going to be a beaver.
Wait, he was planning a
I
beaver.
decided against that because I thought that was too on the nose from Chipper, so I decided against that. But yeah,
For me, it's
actually,
good.
if I remember
You have
correctly,
to
I really
lower
think
the
that
sound or
a beaver
like,
character.
try to
was
manage the sound
the
yourself
front runner
with the
until I
volume.
finally decided against him because of Chipper, and then went with Fox instead.
Yeah. So Freddy was always going to be the original like leader instead of Chipper.
Chipper,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
Chipper?
Freddy was always going to be the main character. He was the first character that I
Yeah,
made.
Freddy.
Mhm.
Fredbear.
It just came naturally. I didn't have to plan him out. I just knew that he was going to be a bear.
The spooky
with a
one.
top hat, holding a microphone.
Yeah.
You know, he was always going to be the leader
Mr.
of
Scott.
the leader of the pack.
The next question is, how did you come up with the game mechanics? So sitting alone in an office,
Exactly.
not being able to move. I think someone mentioned about sit and survive. Did
That's
that
actually
have
pretty
any
interesting.
inspiration for that? Any like old games inspire you for this one?
Well, I don't think it was sit and survive.
It's a unique, actually.
Sit and survive was just kind of
Unique mechanics.
You know, all of these games. Well, then again, I guess it was my mindset at the time, because my mindset at the time was to make smaller games.
Well, it's not a small
that
game
would be
anymore,
kind of
trust
a
me.
shorter experience. Because for a while I was trying to make these, you know, big kind of sweeping epic games like the Desolate Hope and stuff, and you know, it was just
Hello, everyone.
too much of a gigantic commitment that ultimately, you know, that they just weren't paying off. And at the time I was really struggling, you know, to find, you know, something to kind of, you know, support my family and everything. And Five Nights at Freddy's was kind of the result of me switching to this idea of making these shorter experiences that I can make a bit faster, you know, without committing, you know, 2 years to them, you know, while also
Still good though. The game turned out amazing.
you know, just making it a really robust experience. It's just a shorter game, you know.
Yeah, it's real, Scott.
So
Apparently,
I
yeah.
think that played a big part.
Like
in
from
it.
phone,
You
I
know,
think, or from somewhere.
everything is designed to where you see everything right away. You know, as soon as you jump in, you're in the experience. You know, and so it doesn't
There was the
matter if it
Foxy.
lasts for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. You know, you're in the middle of it right away. And yeah.
Did anything change along the course of making FNAF 1?
I don't think I had any problems. Lots of the stuff that was in there, I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
That's the very very
I
first
think
FNAF.
this was a result of just all the right ingredients to be there. You know,
It turned out
threw a
amazing
bunch of
though.
stuff in
The
there,
mechanics and
then,
the system, the
you know,
spooks.
people would kind of, the people who test it would kind of give me, and I'm not my kids. I let some other people test it as well. But you know, they would give me some advice. Like one person said, "Oh, I think you should leave out phone guy. I think that's too much exposition." And then you know, my mother jumped in and said, "Oh, I don't think you should have backstory about anybody getting killed.
Backstory.
You know, I don't think
there
you
is a
need
story
that."
about it.
You know, and then I think I made a lot of good decisions about what to leave in, you know, and what to take out. And it was just all the right ingredients. All the right ingredients were there. You know,
like pepper, salt,
so
Freddy.
I'm really happy with how it turned out.
It really stood out from all of the indie games everybody was playing at that time, and that's definitely how it became successful.
Probably the most
It
spooky
stood
game
out
at those
from
times.
Any other horror experience as well. So yeah, good job. You know, really good job.
I like Bone because I'm Boney.
Speaking about that, about it exploding, did you think it was going to, you know, get a huge reaction on the internet?
Well, probably. I mean,
No,
what
of course
gonna
not.
say?
I mean, but like I said, at the time, you know, I was just trying to, you know,
make a game.
A bunch of little games to kind of, you know, help support my family. And at the time, I think I was making, you know, slot machine games and just
everybody
you know,
started with that.
Would bring in an
small
extra,
games.
you know, $40 or $50 a month, you know, and just trying to accumulate all that stuff up. So no, whenever I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, that wasn't just an afterthought of a game. I mean, I put a lot of, you know, time and effort into Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously, but as far as, you know, expecting it to explode, no, of course not. You know, I remember whenever I released it, you know, I didn't get it on Steam or anything. It was a website called Desera at the time, which was just more immediately welcoming of, you know, anybody who wanted to post games. I think
apparently there was the
but you know, I was watching the download
not from Steam
on
the first FNAF,
and I was
very
watching
old
it kind
times
of skyrocket. And you know, I'd and eventually my wife would come over and she'd be like, let me look at the number, she'd come over every 10 minutes wanting to see, because she was just astonished at how quickly that number was just going from, you know, 5,000 downloads, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000.
That's a lot.
Going through the roof just by the minute.
He's
you
like,
know?
hey.
And it really at the time I was just kind of enjoying it that evening. I was like, well, you know, this is great. You know, this is, you know, but
I just noticed that he keeps saying, you know.
Really my mind's just like, oh wow, this
exactly.
is, you know, it's a big spike. Everybody's really enjoying it. I wonder what I'm going to make tomorrow. Yeah, I had no idea that 4 years later I was still going to be in the middle of a bunch of, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's projects.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really.
I just want to know if there's going to be any new games though.
Do you have a favorite memory
of
Five Nights at Freddy's?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, I do, and it's the first jump scare for me and the first jump scare for my two kids. You know, and it was all Bonnie, which thrills me because Bonnie is kind of the only one that I think is a scary design for me. Like I've never had a nightmare about any of my own characters except for Bonnie. But yeah, I remember when I was developing the game at the time, Bonnie was just a still image and not an animated jump scare. I just had an image of Bonnie up in your face for whenever you know
So basically, there was just one image as a jump scare,
and
without any movements.
And that startled me. You know, I was flipping through the
behind the
panels
chair.
and stuff, and I was intentionally hoping.
He just got behind the chair.
AI.
Oh my god!
You know, I think I even had a little map showing me that there was a little red dot moving through the building. But even though I was expecting it, I put down the monitor and there was Bonnie looking at me, and it was upsetting.
He's
you know, it was
turning out. Oh my
startling.
god!
You know, and now, you know,
Animation
now it
though,
doesn't really
small
startle anybody anymore.
pictures.
But at the time,
Yeah.
I don't know, it got me. And so then I was letting, after I'd animated, I was letting my two sons play it, and I was getting to, you know, watch the, you know, I had a good seat behind both of them, so I was able to get a good view of them playing and what they were playing and everything.
Apparently they got
I knew it
spooked
was coming.
as
They had
well,
no idea.
definitely, from the very first routes.
You know, and the younger of the
first
two,
nights.
he got jump scared by Bonnie, and he just launched backward in his chair, you know. Good times tormenting the children.
I mean, you still do. You made them test Ultimate Custom Night as well. 4 years on.
No, I'll tell you what. You know, my two sons, Ian and Braden,
he was talking about his
great.
son.
They've been great supporters.
About the Ultimate Custom
all
Night,
these
he
years.
passed 150 mode, I
without
think.
those two. You know, they've been just faithful beta testers for me. You know, and whenever they were really little, you know, I'd pay them through ice cream and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I made a big mistake this last time with Braden. You know, you know, obviously I don't make them do this, so you know, I tried to incentivize them. And Braden and you know, Braden's gotten wise to it. He's like, well, you know, how about if I go through and beat all these challenges, you know? And I thought,
you know,
like, well, you know,
I just noticed that.
I'll give you $20 for each of the challenges you beat, thinking he was going to beat one or two. I was like, yeah, he'll spend 30 minutes on this. You know, so I'll commit 20. You know,
it's like,
20,
hey, beat this
40,
game, I'm gonna pay you.
Whatever. He sat there and he did like a 12-hour marathon on that
Whoa.
game. He was playing it nonstop. He was raging so hard.
12 hours of
and
Fnaf.
he completed every single one of those challenges except for like the last one, I think.
Yeah.
That boy made bank that day. He walked away with about $300.
That's
a lot.
Oh, worth it.
yeah, man. But it was totally worth it.
Hello.
He found bugs and glitches.
Yeah.
I just love when
that
he
would have been really
spins
bad.
like.
I mean, that's the whole point anyway. You know, he found these things that I needed to fix before I released the game. So.
Okay, here's an interesting question about FNAF 1.
What exactly?
Was there any reason why the kitchen camera was disabled, like due to gameplay limits on Click Team or anything like that?
No. I just thought it would be interesting. I mean, you know, that mechanic ended up not really playing a big role in anything. I think originally, you know, I had wanted, and I got better with this in later games, how to make audio play a bigger role in it. You know, I got better at that. But in the first one, that was just my attempt to make audio play a bigger part in it.
Yeah.
Like the spooky sounds,
but yeah, it kind of ended up just being just something
jump
different,
scare
and not
sounds.
really being a major mechanic or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good mechanic to know that Freddy was in the kitchen as well, because when Freddy's in the kitchen, he plays his music, right?
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
So I think it does play a mechanic, because you know that Freddy's in there, and usually when Freddy's roaming around, you see his eyes, but you just see nothing inside there. So when you were making Five Nights at Freddy's 1, were you already planning on making a sequel? Or any other ideas what were flinging in your head on what to do?
So the story,
I
if there's going to be part 2.
Left a lot of things open-ended, you know.
Hello everybody who joined
us.
Actually, hello.
Expand upon them later. I mean, obviously, like I did not have the entire story planned out, as I know there's much debate about that on the subreddits. Like, oh, you know, some kind of mad genius that had
These times Reddits.
7 games planned out from the beginning. No, I didn't.
The good old times.
But I definitely knew that the story I was telling in the first game was a small snippet of a larger story. Even if I didn't have all the details of that story fleshed out yet, you know, I knew that the story being told in that game was a smaller part.
Yeah, MatPat really tried to understand the story.
If you could go back in time, is there anything you would change or add to Five Nights at Freddy's 1?
No, not the first one.
It was perfect.
I can go back and think about
all the
thank you
for the sub.
And be like, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done that. But no, the first game was just kind of a perfect storm of ingredients. It was, you know, it was just the right time. You know, when, you know, everybody was really into indie horror games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
there
think it
wasn't
was
a
the
lot
right
of horror
look, and it
games
was the
these
right
times
feel
when
to
FNAF 1
something,
came out.
you know, different than what everybody else was playing, and it was, you know, kind of a type of horror game, or at least the antagonists were something that hadn't really been explored in horror games. I didn't feel,
Yeah.
you know, the idea of animatronic creatures. So, and you know, and everybody really liked Phone Guy. Obviously,
Phone Guy,
everybody
hello.
liked the little Easter eggs
Hello,
thrown
hello.
in, and the backstory. No, it was just a good mix of ingredients, and it was kind of lightning in a bottle. And I don't think I was ever able to fully
An ultimate
capture
customer
that
is
again, and I
so
don't think I
annoying,
really
that Phone
will
Guy.
be able to, and that's
Mhm.
okay. I mean, like I said, that was kind of it was kind of lightning in a bottle.
Right, we'll go on to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 next.
FNAF 2, there we go.
November 2014. If you didn't make this game, I wouldn't be here now, basically. Honestly, it's the truth.
The FNAF 2, that's where you started,
So
apparently.
FNAF 2 is the
Oh my
game
god,
that really
it's
means a lot to
starting.
me, and I'll be forever grateful for it. So, yeah, thank you. Just wanted to quickly plug that in.
Okay.
Good.
I appreciate it. About Five Nights at
Five Nights
Freddy's
at
2,
Freddy's 2.
how did you get the idea for, you know, changing the mechanics up a little bit? So the masks and the vents, you know, watching the puppet.
You know, there wasn't a really in-depth plan.
There we go, FNAF 2, alright.
For like the overall feel of the games, like a lot of these were, I just kind of knew what they were supposed to be, or just kind of felt the way the
The mask though, new mechanics of mask.
Part 2 should be chaotic. You know, part 2 should be, you know, a lot more chaotic than the first one. It should be just crazy. It should be overwhelming panic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also knew, even at that time, before as I was working on part 2, I knew that 3 should be a very personal experience. It should be the opposite of what 2 was. You know, part 3 should be kind of one-on-one.
Yeah,
and
but
I
there
knew
are a
that
little
part
bit
4
different
should
mechanics
be,
there.
kind of unique as far as setting and things like that. And I knew that part 5 should be kind of high tech, and I even kind of already had color schemes picked out. Like I knew that part 5 should kind of be purples and blues.
Yeah.
I knew that 3 should be kind of green, and I knew that 2 should be kind of 2 should be feel kind of industrial, which I think that it does.
Yeah.
New buttons
but
apparently.
Outside of that,
left and right side.
Outside of that, I'm not really sure. And maybe there was more to it at the time, but you know, it all happened so fast, you know.
Yeah.
50-20 more. I'm gonna die if I play 50-20.
Do you have any scrapped content or anything for the game? Because some people mentioned the toxicity. Is that
toxicity? Yes.
meter?
Right. Right. The toxic meter. I think, if I remember correctly, I think that the toxic meter was an early idea on just something so that players couldn't put the mask on and leave it on forever.
Yes, leave it on forever.
You know, I had the idea that if you put the mask
I mean,
on,
that would actually be a problem.
But I don't know. That didn't really seem to fit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just didn't seem to. It just didn't make quite as much sense. And so then the way that I solved it was, you know, obviously having the need to go and wind the music box every once in a while, and the fact that, you know, Foxy was immune to the mask. You know, so I came up with other ways that felt a little more
Shadow
natural
Toy
than
Chica.
just putting on the mask and seeing a meter deplete. Like, oh, okay, I can only wear this for 5 seconds. It seemed a little too artificial.
And it works perfectly anyway, so I don't think it was needed anyway because of what you just said.
Scott is William confirmed.
You're not going to always keep the mask on forever anyway, so...
Yeah.
Was there a reason why you decided to remove Toy Chica's beak after she left the stage to make her more creepy, right?
You know, once again, I'm not entirely sure what my mindset was on that.
Maybe he was drunk and he was just wanted to
a way to distinguish
make a different stuff, like,
you know,
from what
stage
his
presence
head comes
Chica
out.
from now I'm a monster coming to get you.
Spokes,
you know, like
behind him.
entered attack mode or something. You know, once again, actually, I think maybe part of it is because, like, you know, a classic Chica, even on stage, was still kind of creepy looking, but the toy versions, just in their standing state on stage, weren't quite as creepy. I mean,
yeah, they were kind of cute, more cuter than the first
like,
ones.
Toy Chica isn't
it's
really
less spooky, at
scary
least.
looking. Toy Chica by herself isn't very scary, I didn't think. And so removing the beak was just one thing to just kind of push it into, you know, making her look a little more uncomfortable.
That makes sense.
How did you come up with the mini games? Because this was the first game to ever have mini games. Was this to, you know, show the lore not on paper, if that makes sense? So, you know, instead of just giving like this and this and this, oh, blah, 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 the killer killed 5 kids, yada, yada, yada. But instead you didn't show it on paper, you put into a mini game.
Some kind of hidden story in the minigame.
I don't know, I wanted to keep the gameplay experience similar, but I also wanted to make the game a little bit more fleshed out than the first one, and so that just seemed like a kind of a natural way to do that, where, you know, while not interfering with the gameplay, you know, putting it in kind of an unexpected
game inside the game
way that would make it interesting, but while also not making the player feel like they're forced to sit through cutscenes and things like that.
Do you have any good memories of FNAF 2 at all, or bad?
That was a really stressful time for me, I think, because obviously, you know, my life was changing a lot at that point. You know, there was just a lot of there was a big frenzy going on with just all aspects of my life, and I was really trying to work on that. But I mean, there's still good memories.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't want to
such as what kind of?
You know, it was really chaotic, and I was really stressed out. Yeah. So I mean, all good memories, but I wouldn't want to revisit it.
Okay, we'll move on to Five Nights at Freddy's 3 then.
That was fast.
So
FNAF 3.
This is
Springtrap.
when I emailed you for early access.
This is when Springtrap.
I literally had only like I think it was like 6k subs or something like that, and I've still got the email. I was like, hey Scott, my name's Dawko, I make FNAF videos. Is there any chance I can get it early when it comes out?
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, you put me on your list, which is insane. And that like honestly,
I've still got that list. I've still got that list on my desktop, the same one from all those years ago. And it's literally called my the VIP list.
Yeah,
that's cool.
No, yeah, you said that in the email. You said I'll put you on the VIP list, and I was so happy. I was screaming when you replied. Oh, such a good memory.
And I don't use that.
There we go, FNAF 3. The Phantoms, boy.
You never know. You never know what's going to come up, you know, for future events.
That's the most spookiest part, actually. One of the most spookiest part.
Am I still on it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course you're still on it. Yeah. Everybody's. I never take anybody off the VIP list.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can be bad, and then you'll never take me off, right?
Well, I mean, don't test it. But...
I was kind of testing it with Ultimate Custom Night with this 50-20 mode fiasco. Five Nights at Freddy's 3, another good memory for me.
The most spookier one, actually.
February. After this game came out, I was in university studying law at the time, and I quit to carry on with this game.
Just for FNAF, right?
Channel. So yeah, another good memory with FNAF 3. First off, how did you think of Springtrap?
Springtrap, there we go.
Once again,
my Spring dude.
Again, he was just the character for that game. I did not sketch out a whole bunch of characters and write pros and cons lists. You know, he was
Springtrap is gross. He's more spooky.
He was just the natural villain for that. You know, I knew
the villain of FNAF 3
was supposed to be, and I just kind of started modeling him, and he just kind of came together.
Yeah, behind the chair. No, that's funny moment.
This model was like a big difference compared to the other ones that you did, because you had to go through all the details of the, you know, it being withered and having like
withered animatronics,
body parts and gore and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he did take longer to model, and you know, his purple corpse is in that whole body that whole time.
Yeah.
You know, even
which is actually
sad.
sad.
The game you never see it. You know.
Yeah.
Purple guy, he's in there.
That's why the purple guy came out.
Well, we got those secret images.
Yeah, that's true. You get to see him a little bit.
Yeah, and the troll. Was this the first time you did the troll game as
well?
Yes,
that is a chat right there.
This was when you first.
Yep, it sure was.
The launch of the troll games.
Yeah, that was the first troll game.
Trolling games. FNAF 1 is one hell of a troll, I'm telling you.
It was like a platformer from one of your old games, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, old games. There is no pause button. I stuck Freddy's head.
Yes, that's it. Yes. But that was the first time we saw Springtrap as well, because you put Springtrap in the menu, and there were some frames where he did have his mask and stuff going crazy, like coming on and off. But
that's right.
I remember the first teaser you did with he always comes back and stuff. And people originally thought that it was like Fredbear, didn't they? Instead of being
they thought it was Golden Freddy, yeah.
Yeah, instead of it being like
it's always the
rabbit
confusion
character.
between Golden Freddy and
So I remember those
Fredbear.
times, man. I was one of them, by the way. I originally thought it was Golden Freddy.
Always confusion.
This game was when things went a little bit crazy with like the mini games and stuff, and the good ending and the bad ending. If you can answer this, which ending really happened?
I've given a lot of thought as to whether or not I should answer this question.
Oh,
okay.
And
I got some secrets.
Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the answer is very interesting.
Okay.
You know? The answer is very interesting. The answer is complex.
Okay.
However, I'm not going to answer it because it's only going to cause
more
strife. I mean, you see the kind of trouble that erupts, especially several years ago. The flame wars that would go
behind
on
the
over
chair.
Gender.
Oh my god!
As simple as that, you know.
yeah.
You know, I mean, people with torches and pitchforks. You know, no, I don't think I'm gonna answer this.
Maybe he's confused himself.
So, the good ending, you know, it was very, you know,
very spooky.
sad, and it seemed like it was like the end of the franchise. Was this meant to be the final game?
I think when I was making that game, in my mind, that was the end of a trilogy.
Yeah.
You know,
3-part.
I think in my mind, the story was going to be 3 games, and
it just stretch out the story. Or
Five Nights at
that's
Freddy's
what it
3
ended up
was
being.
where I kind of started letting myself be driven a little bit more by criticisms of the game than maybe I had before. Before, everybody was just really, really excited, you know, happy to have all this stuff. But whenever 3 came out, I really was starting to pay attention to criticism. You know, for instance, you know, even though I may have, you know, in some, you know, alternate life, may have left the series alone at 3, people were not happy with the jump scare. And it's kind of a simple
just the
as that.
same
People
stuff, right? Over and over again.
The jump scare of Springtrap, and that really bothered me. And so then that kind of, in my mind, that wouldn't let the series rest in a way, because I wanted to
like,
make
don't give up.
Another entry that was really, really scary again.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I accomplished that with Five Nights at Freddy's 4. You know, really focusing on really cool, really quick, unexpected jump scares that would kind of make you jerk. So yeah, so honestly, the series kind of was
the more unexpected and like super fast stuff is the more spookier one.
Upon the last
exactly, especially when you don't expect it.
That's interesting. Speaking about Five Nights at Freddy's 4, this was the next one.
F4, oh my god.
July. Well, you originally planned it for it to be a Halloween release, right? And then you released it in July.
Troll again. One of the trolls.
Right. Well, I had things to do. You know, the way that I see it is that if you have something ready to go,
just do it. Yeah.
I mean, what's the point? You know,
I mean,
I'm not
Fnaf 4, you're not in office
I
anymore.
A gigantic corporation, you know, with, you know, releasing, you know, advertise with a big marketing campaign, targeting a specific date, trying to squeeze it between other releases. You know, I mean, I had people who were excited about the game and who were looking forward to it, and those are the only people that I was thinking about. You know, it's like, hey, you know, there's a fan base here, and they're excited for this. You know, why not just go ahead and let them have it? I'll just hop into the next project. You know, and that served me really well for, you know.
At least you get to move in this part.
Yeah. Because I remember I was on holiday, wasn't I? And you emailed me about doing a first thoughts on the game. And I remember you emailing me, like, I think it was like literally the day after, saying, you know what, I'm just going to release it. So I think that
it's actually one of the most interested games.
Like, everyone was like,
from one of the interesting parts
like now,
of Fnaf.
Scott, please just release it now, because, and you did. So I think, like, you know, I played it on holiday, and I have a lot of good memories playing through it. You know, while I'm get screaming when people are next door to me because you know on cruise ships cabins are really close together.
Yeah, he was talking about his
I
cruise
was full
stuff.
on screaming in my cabin. I was honestly wondering what the next door neighbours were thinking about what the hell I was doing.
What's happening to Fnaf?
Well, I'm glad it ended up being a good memory. Sorry,
it's an interview.
You're not the only person
between Scott and dawko, the
way.
Scott himself, creator of
Don't
Fnaf.
feel like you were getting isolated, trying to cause you trouble. I think, if I remember correctly, right after I released Final Fantasy 4, I was sending out emails saying, "Hey, this game's out. Hey, this game's out." And I sent one to Markiplier.
Yep, there we go.
And
about
he
Mark.
emailed me back saying, dude, I can't play this. I just got to, this game conference just started. It's going to be going on for 4 days. So I stressed him out too.
Behind the chair.
At the time, everybody was pestering him, to play it immediately. And I think that he was able to, being the good sport that he is, he's still just like you did. Even though you were inconvenienced, you still found time to, do videos.
Yeah, I always try to. If you remember with Fnaf World.
Oh yes, the big fail. Oh my god, that's one of the biggest fail of Fnaf, Fnaf World.
Right, that's right, you sure were.
Like he's gonna tell it right now, I think.
God.
It didn't turn out.
Never miss anything ever. So with Five Nights at Freddy's 4, like you said, I think you basically answered this question anyway about the game and the mechanics. Like you said that you wanted to make this more scarier. Back to like. Being anxious all the time. And the interesting thing you did with this one is I feel like every game you make, you try and implement a new mechanic that you haven't done before.
Actually, yeah.
And this one was specifically to do with sound, because you had to go to the doors and listen closely for breathing. And I think that impacted the jump scare like a million times as scary. Because, you full on listening to the game. You have to listen to the game. So when you get that jump scare out of nowhere,
and you get spooked,
while you're listening, waiting for them to breathe, I think that really, made the game stand out.
Yeah, well, lots of the games were kind of experimental with different ways of initiating, the jump scare to see what was really effective. And yeah, I think looking into, this big dark chasm.
I love when Scott is behind the chair like spooky.
If there's a face, 2 inches from your own face looking back at you, and you having to commit to turn on the flashlight, and then I think that one really worked.
Yeah, it was terrifying. So how were these to model? Were they, just as hard as Springtrap? Because it seemed like you were going all out on these nightmare animatronics. For the
they're completely
the
different, more spookier with the teeth.
Elaborate to model. I mean, I remember, anytime I start a new game, that's always the most difficult phase, is just starting into the modeling phase, because I know that it's going to take a really long time. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of attention to detail.
Imagination. It takes quite an imagination, definitely.
Weren't that bad.
As
I
well.
think I modeled Freddy in 2 days, and then I think I took that model and adjusted to make Bonnie in another day. And then the ones from Final Fantasy 2 were probably about the same day, maybe 1 or 2 days per character. I mean, that's working all day.
Nightmare Fox, yes, he is creepy.
Yeah,
I think Springtrap took maybe 4 or 5 days to make him. Yeah. And each of the Nightmare animatronics, I think I spent about a week and a half on each one.
Oh, that's a lot.
I think a couple of them even 2 weeks on each one, just because lots of teeth, lots of hairs in the fabric,
there's a lot of teeth,
which are not texture mapped on. I mean, those are actually kind of torn out into the model, because I just think it looks a lot more convincing than trying to, texture map them on there. So I'd have to go in there really close, and I would have to actually, cut into that character, delete polygons and then straighten them all out to make them look like they're sharp corners rather than blocky squares. There's a lot of,
he tried his best to make him spookier.
But I mean, totally
with the teeth and like the atmosphere.
Exactly. So about the models, people were wondering about Foxy's tongue. So Foxy originally had a tongue in the teaser.
Yeah.
Did you take that out because of complications with the game or anything?
No, I took it out because I didn't think it was. Like, it was scary on the teaser. There's something about those long snake-like,
sneaky snake,
demonic tongues that
Fox has a long
cool
tongue.
In theory, but
with
they're not
sharp
really
teeth.
scary in practice. Like I don't think I've ever seen
Spooky.
a monster in a movie, extend out, its long tongue and snake it around, and then me be scared by it. They're just not very scary. So I just took it out for the game.
Yeah, awesome. About this game, it created a bit of a divide between people, specifically the box at the end, and then the TV advertisement with 1983, and then
How do I know Scott's number?
of 87 debate.
I don't know.
How did you feel about the reactions to that?
Kind of like with Five Nights at Freddy's 3, where there was something I was kind of left unsatisfied with. The reaction to Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and the box is tied into this, very, very closely. I don't think that people weren't really happy from a lore standpoint, even though I got the jump scares kind of right.
Yeah.
And the box really fit into that lore aspect. I felt that it had
several jump scares on several different places.
It had strayed too far from an actual story in a way. Me just saying that, I'm gonna get torn apart for even saying that, because people are gonna look at what I've ended up with. They're gonna be like, "And you call this a story?" But Five Nights at Freddy's 4, it kind of went a little too broad. It cast its net too wide for interpretation. I guess that's the best way to say it. It went too broad for interpretation, and that left people unsatisfied. Because whereas the other ones, there were mysteries. 4 ended up just too mysterious to the point where you really couldn't,
mysterious,
there was no
creepy.
real way to figure out what was going on. It left people unsatisfied. And like I said, with
it's hard to satisfy because the jump scares are literally the same as before from other parts, and mechanics are kind of similar.
I need to make another game. I need to kind of ground this again, not necessarily in reality, but I need to ground it in kind of storytelling again, and really lay this down with what's going on. Obviously I watch all the game theory videos,
Game theory, yep.
Me and Matt have sometimes had an antagonistic relationship back and forth.
It's like, oh my god, what was that?
My games, and sometimes he inconveniences me with his theories, but it's all in good fun, But I'll tell you, he did a video on that box, and he kind of said that he thinks the contents of the box changed over the years. And I bet nobody gave that a whole lot of thought, but I saw that and I was like, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
My favorite character is Shadow Toy Chica.
Changed over the years because it's for that very reason. It's because of what I was intending the game to be when it happened, and then after the reaction of it, I was like, I need to craft this into something better.
That's where Sissification came from.
For the people who see this as important, and that kind of indirectly does change the contents of the box, because it changes the contents of everything that came before. So I thought I just thought that was an interesting observation on his part.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this on one of your Steam posts or something, that you put some things in Sister Location to ground out the story of Fnaf 4, right? Yeah. Right, so
that's
I mentioned
where,
about the hospital fiasco.
Oh no!
This was when
oh my god, Fnaf World, definitely. The old FNAF 4, like the FNAF World.
Why did you decide to change things up and make FNAF World?
It's like a very interesting, less spooky.
For why I made it, even though they're not, it doesn't mean it was a good idea. Just
please don't spam
I want to go ahead and get
with
that
my
out.
emojis.
Because I had reasons for making it, doesn't mean it was a good idea. But one part of it was just that, there's only so much that you can let your mind focus on, murders and tragedy and stuff like that before it, you kind of start cracking. Even if it's just stories that you're making up, there's only so much human suffering that a human mind can sit around and think about. And at that point, I was 2 years in, just fully committed to this grisly story of murders. And I had
well, that's a mini game at this point. Like, it's completely different mechanics.
What I should have done is, I should have used that for a troll game, or I should have,
definitely, like you did with the Ultimate Custom Night.
Fighters, I should have just done something that was obviously for fun and not tried to somehow tie it in to a canon game. And that's obvious to me now. But like I'm saying, like I was saying, I wasn't thinking completely rationally at the time. And whereas, like I was saying, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was the right game at the right time, FNAF World, that wasn't a good time for it to be made, because I was already in the rhythm of making games that were, coming out not too far apart from each other. I was making them pretty fast, and that's what people were wanting and expecting, and that's what I was wanting to
Yeah,
do
that's
anyway.
where
You know, blaming people for wanting that. That's
small
what
models of
created
other
that pattern,
animatronics came
and I was
from.
happy with that. I liked making games really fast. You know, but that
Jacoboni.
was just a really poor decision of a game to try to make fast. You know, in hindsight, like now would have probably been a better time to
Actually,
sit
the
back and
community
watch
didn't
something
much
like
like
that.
that game.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
You know, like
it was
after all the kind of after I was kind of satisfied with all the canon games.
Mostly
and,
it went
other,
out positive
other
negatively
companies
about
that, you know, kind
the
of taken
FNAF
on some other
world.
projects. Then I
Because
could
everything
sit back and
changed.
maybe enjoy making an RPG, you know, and spend a couple of years on it, you know, and just make something really nice. Kind of, you know, that looked like the, you know, the Desolate Hope, you know, really make some nice 3D models for it. Oh, and another mistake I made was FNAF World. I was designing it for mobile. I don't know. You know, I can
Like a Plants vs Zombies at some point, you know.
Let's just move along.
Okay. Okay. So how would you treat the game now as an experience? Like, have you learned anything making this game?
Oh yeah. I learned a lot. In fact, right before you called, I was kind of thinking over that game, and I realized that, you know, that's probably the least valuable game I've ever made as far as profit is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the single most valuable game out of the entire franchise. And the reason is because what I learned from FNAF World is what is driving every single project going on right now. It is serving as the gemstone of quality control in my mind, and it has solidified exactly what I have to do going forward. If I was treating the movie as I was,
there was a lot of new animatronics in FNAF World.
FNAF World, we would be 3 movies into the FNAF movies by now.
Yeah.
And they would probably be terrible. You know, if I had the mindset that, oh hey, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, people will love it, you know, regardless of quality, then we would already have several movies and they would all be terrible. I mean, you know, and this, you know, Ultimate Custom Night would have come out way too soon, and it just served as a really important lesson for me that you should never take. It taught me to never take for granted.
Yeah,
definitely.
How special it is to have a group of people who are eager to play what you make. Whenever I made the,
well, it's called dedication of the creator.
I saw one person
of
made a piece of fan art
the developer.
I found it on Google, so I'm going to draw one of the characters, and that was the most special
but
thing.
But a lot of people really
in the
just
world
care about the
that
game
someone
itself.
Had drawn a picture of one of my characters. Like, I can't even tell you how important seeing that one drawing was. And it was just, you know, I'd have no idea who it was. You know, but then, you know, to have a fan base and to have kids that are drawing these pictures and, you know, sending. I got a letter from the other day addressed to Foxy.
Oh, that's cute.
You know,
that's nice.
And God bless the post office in my town for knowing me and for sending me these letters anyway. I kid you not, it was addressed to Foxy, only to Foxy, and I think below it might have had some other clue as to who it was for, but the post office made sure to pass it along to me.
Oh.
You know, I mean, how awesome is that? You know, and the letter was written to Foxy. You know, it was asking Foxy a question.
That's so awesome.
You know, that's so. There's nothing more priceless than that.
Yeah.
You know, and to have a fan base, you know, of people who care about these characters in the games, you know, that is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
You know, and they should never be taken for granted.
The community. Yeah. So.
And, you know, who cares if something is commercial, and who cares if something is going to make a whole bunch of money? You know, you just have to make sure that whenever those people finally get to
I know. So that's Cawthon have a channel. Yeah.
That it's something that lifts them up and makes them happy, and it's something that it was everything that they wanted to see. You know, like that's all that matters. You know, and I need to write that kid back. I'm gonna go get a big envelope and put a bunch of Foxy plush toys, and I'm gonna write a letter as Foxy. I've never done that before.
Well, that's nice response.
And I'm gonna even make a little tear in the paper and say that it was my hook that
his hook.
I'm gonna totally do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
But yeah, so yeah, that's a long story. But no, FNAF World taught me to never take for granted your fan base.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. And the final question, which everybody's wanted to ask.
What is it?
Is will Chipper ever return like he said he would?
Chipper.
Hey, Chipper is, listen, all of these games are haunted.
Like,
by
no, I'm not gonna
spirits,
answer.
Right. But the real spirit haunting this whole franchise is Chipper. Chipper.
There we go. That's the Chipper.
Franchise.
That's the main idea from FNAF 1.
I received a box of merchandise the other day. You know, like manufacturer samples, and there's a plush toy of Chipper, well, L Chip, you know.
Yeah.
But I held that plush toy, and I was looking at L Chip, and I was thinking to myself, you know, you got merch. You got merch, Chipper.
Yeah.
You were an abysmal failure, but you found your way into this merch, and here you sit.
That's
with
when it all
goofy
started.
grin on your face, you know. Yeah, no. So Chipper's already back. He's infiltrated the franchise.
Yeah. Well, so L Chip to you was a reference to Chipper.
Oh yeah, of course he is.
Yeah. Thought so.
That's where Fnaf 6 that animatronic.
Location.
My favorite part.
I feel like this was like the biggest change.
I love
in
Sister
the
Location.
franchise because you added voice actors. You know, you went beyond the limits of Click Team to a lot of people, where you know you added a sense of free roam.
Yeah.
It's like
A
huge
lot of
location.
movements.
Is that maybe why you decided to put voice acting in to change things up a little bit?
I think
I adore
for Final
Sister
Fantasy
Location.
1
One
through
of my
4,
this
I
is
consider
my
that
favorite
all
part.
One sitting for me. Like I sat down. I feel like I just sat down and made all 4 games in one sitting.
Yeah.
And it was only after that I sat back and thought, you know, how can I improve?
Yep,
upon
the
this?
amazing
How can I add
animatronics
something
that
new?
came from
So
it
that's when
are
I was,
amazing.
you know, entertaining new ideas in my mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, voice acting just kind of, I don't remember exactly what it was, but man, I'm sure glad that I did. You know, I bumped into just some incredible talent, you know, that got to use.
The fun times, yep.
Obviously, I mean, almost all of them, if not all of the voice actors that got for Sister Location have come back to reprise their roles or other roles, you know.
Yeah. Exactly, that's awesome.
It's amazing people.
Yeah, they really are. Hello, by the way, voice actors, if you're watching.
They will.
Fellow voice actors.
So, I think you basically answered some of these. So I asked like what inspired you to make the game style so
Ballora,
different. I mean,
probably.
like I think you've answered that throughout the interview. You just wanted to make something different compared to the others. So how were these two model and design?
I think the
Yeah, there we go.
I think
There
the
they
Sister
are.
Location, I think the Sister Location characters are probably were my favorite ones to model.
Even he told it.
I really like the.
There we go.
I really like the metallic kind of look. I always kind of tend to lean sci-fi, which has actually gotten me in trouble a couple of times with this franchise.
Oh.
You know, anytime I try to lean sci-fi, which is my natural inclination, you know, people are like, "Hey, whoa, this is a horror story," and then I have to somehow try to guide it back, you know. And rightfully so. The first game's a horror movie; it's not sci-fi. But yeah, I don't know. I just I wanted it to be sci-fi. I wanted it to look really sleek and polished, and I really enjoyed modeling all of those characters. And yeah, like I said, I think those are probably some of my favorite characters of the series.
So
Oh, JC boy.
here's an interesting one, which I don't know if you're gonna answer or not.
Hi,
so
JC.
In Night 4, when we're inside the suit, a lot of people wanted to know whose suit is that.
Whose suit is that?
The most interesting question.
I'm not going to be able to answer that for you.
That's fine. That's
gonna have to remain a topic of discussion.
The
Any
secret.
memories or favourite moments?
I really enjoyed making that game. I have nothing but good memories about that. Yeah,
Awesome.
I really enjoyed making that, and I really enjoyed working on the trailer. I think that's my favorite.
The trailer was
that I made,
amazing.
and I
Like,
loved
wow,
seeing the
really.
reactions. Everybody just seemed to, and honestly, I think that's what creates the memories for me, is just seeing how things are kind of received. And you know, obviously, if something is received really well, then I know I did my job right. You know, and I know that I did something right. And yeah, being able so I think my favorite moment was getting to release that trailer and just seeing all the excitement from it.
Yeah, people
And
was
I knew that I
took
was
it
on the right
very
track.
cool, like
Awesome.
extremely amazing.
Yeah, I loved that trailer. I think I did a reaction. Yes, I did. I did a reaction. I loved it. They're so good and different as well, compared to your other trailers too. Because I think the favourite trailers from you to me are most likely Fnaf 3 and Sister Location. I love it when you put like your own cutscenes in the trailers. I think it's really awesome. I have no idea how you did that. How did you do that, if I can ask that?
As a
Like, how
programming
did you
stuff.
put the models in cutscenes? Was that with Click Team? I don't know anything about this stuff.
Well, that's mostly the programming
well,
stuff.
I mean, before I was making video games, I mean, I was an animator. You know, I mean, I got my degree in computer animation, and I had a several jobs where I was, you know, none of my jobs have ever involved making games at all.
Oh.
You know, it's always been about using 3D Studio Max, obviously the modeling software that I use,
Blender.
and you know, and that's a full animation program. You know, so whenever I went to make the cutscenes, I wouldn't use ClickTeam at all. I would just, you know, go back to my old school skills, bring my characters together, and animate them. You know, I'd render out, you know, movies, drop those into my video editing software, and there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've watched some of your old animations, by the way.
Oh,
on
I
YouTube.
wish there was.
They're all out there, Scott.
I wish we could actually see the very old animations.
I know, man. I know.
Wait, is this the one?
No, they were good. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. They were really good. My favourite one, right, was with the cat. So the cat under the bridge. And the kid was always scared to
3D animation.
See the
yeah,
cat, but
yeah.
he always used to leave her food. And what he didn't know is that she had babies. That's so cute.
Hey, that's a true story. That is based off of a true story. My family we were living in a little apartment complex, and there was always this creepy.
It's behind the chair. It's always funny to see.
Fondly calling Demon Cat. You know, and in fact, I took you know, and my two sons now who are teenagers, you know, they were just 3 and 4 at the time.
Yeah.
You know, but we actually went out searching for demons. We made an event of it one night. We all got flashlights and went searching around the apartment complex looking for the Demon Cat. And I even got a photograph of it. And man, I don't know whatever happened to it, but you know, we peered under a car and I took a picture, and of course its eyes were glowing green. And you know, we found Demon Cat. You know, but then true to the story, like I don't know if it was a week or 2 later or whatever, you know, it was a mama cat, had little babies, you know, so it wasn't really this big bad cat.
Basically, from these small animations, Scott created the trailers and the main cutscenes.
For her, so she was well taken care of.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, the ultimate custom night cutscenes. No.
Thinking about your voice right now, you did narrate those, right?
Oh yeah, you know, that was me, and all of the voice roles. I mean, all the male roles, obviously, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, these days I'm so fortunate to, you know, I'm so fortunate to be able to go online and be able to connect with voice talent. Not that I wouldn't have been able to afford it back at the time anyway, but
well, there was some
the internet was brand new. I mean, you're talking
voice actors, a lot of them.
15, 16, 17 years ago.
Is it Location?
When, you know,
Fnaf 6 and Ultimate Custom
the internet was around, but you couldn't just go online and connect with the kind of talent that you can today, you know? So I was pretty much on my own when it came to voice acting.
Okay, moving on to I'd say the highlight of your...
That came out not long ago, actually, last year.
Five Nights at Freddy's 6.
Yep.
The game you originally planned to be a pizza simulator, an 8-bit pizza simulator, and everyone was like, okay, let's have it.
Fnaf 6. Where's Helpy?
And you released the whole game without anybody knowing anything for a whole year. Like, why?
Scrap, baby.
Just
for
the surprise.
Well, no, there actually was reasoning behind it. It wasn't just to be a troll, okay? And the reasoning was kind of complicated, and it was not a very fun. That was not a fun year. I mean, that was a game that was born out of necessity, because I needed to kind of bring a conclusion to several events from the series. However, whenever I was in the early stages of it, and I think I'd released a very early idea that I was working on another game, but I think it was someone on Steam that just made a passing comment. It was just a passing comment. You know, nobody paid any attention to it. You know, he better not just start teasing a game like he always has been before. You know, because it's just not going to cut it anymore, or something like that. I don't know. It was just some passing comment, but it just made me start thinking. It's like this next game, I really can't do that. You know, I can't just do the same thing that I did before. I can't just start releasing teasers.
Yeah, there definitely must be something, because a lot of them
I just knew
already had the same mechanics.
If I went through another year of just releasing teasers, that would give everybody a lot of fatigue. Like that would fatigue people. That would wear people out, and it was going to rub people the wrong way. You know, and I can't explain why I felt that
But
way.
the animatronics are the most
really
beautiful
felt that
one
way.
in FNAF 6.
But
Like,
at the same time, I needed
it's
to
beautiful and it's
resolve
scary.
a lot of issues
Double
with the
times.
story. And so those two factors combined, that's the way
It's
that
the
I
most
handled it, the way
spooky
that I
and,
did.
like,
I worked
dark
on
style
I worked
animatronics.
on that game for a year in secret, all the while the fan base was, you know, getting pretty agitated that, you know, I wasn't talking to them and I wasn't working on anything. But I knew that was the way that it just had to be. It had to be this way. This game could not have a lot of hype behind it.
It's a bright new
that
day.
wasn't the purpose. The purpose of it was
What are
not
you
to
waiting
make
for?
a lot
Find
of
a
money.
job.
The purpose of it was not
Yep, that's
to
the
build
story.
a lot of hype. It was just to resolve some plot points that
Scribe,
people
of
wanted
course.
to see. And
Spooky.
so the result of that was me going into the dark for a year, and then just dropping a game, and there you have it. And you know, and even on the Steam store, it's not there. It's not there to draw a bunch of attention to itself. You know, it's using all the really simplest screenshots. That is truly there for just people who wanted to have kind of a resolution to some of the story.
It was still a big highlight though. For it, like, the surprise just, I think, blew everybody away though, to be honest. I mean, it's one of my favourite memories where I'm just, you know, being Freddy, throwing pizzas,
Yep.
and then the
Mini
game
game.
glitches, and then you sat in a room with Scrap Baby. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Unexpected.
It was the biggest surprise ever.
Well, good. We'll see. And that's exactly what it needed to be. Because just like every game kind of needs to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, the way that it's approached needs to be different too. And the reason why I brought that comment was because it just kind of reminded me. It's like you can't just do the same thing that you've been doing. You can't just start releasing teasers again randomly and just expect everybody to keep caring. You know, so I knew that I had to handle it differently.
There we go. Helpy.
Yeah, and
that's the
I
office.
was successful with that.
Yeah.
I think it worked out well.
Yeah, it did. Specifically as well, with changing things up a little bit, you added the simulator start, so you make your own pizzeria. You put your own animatronics and designs in.
Like some kind of
I think that was a really
stuff.
cool idea.
Candy stuff and
you know,
like
it
roller coaster.
It split the game up as well, so you're not just always in
Mr.
an office.
Hugs.
You have a break from being scared, and you know, you can make your own pizzeria. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
Awesome. Next up is Ultimate Custom
There
Night.
we go.
So this was the literally released
He doesn't know.
a month ago? It's been a month already.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That was fast.
Maybe a little more even.
With Ultimate Custom Night, you know, having 50 plus animatronics,
That's
was this
hard.
bigger than you originally wanted it to be?
I played 2 episodes of it, like,
so did
I
you
tried.
originally think, right, I'm going to put 50 animatronics into this game, or did you just keep building it up?
I mean, I always knew that it was going to be a full sized game. I mean, you know, originally, I mean, I guess at the very beginning,
That's
it was
hard.
going to be an add-on to Pizzeria Simulator, but it was very soon afterwards that I realized, you know, this is going to be just a full Five Nights at Freddy's experience. You know, this just needs to be its own full game.
I want to know about the challenges.
And originally it was going to be, you know, 4D characters, but then I kind of filled those slots up pretty quick, and there were just too many characters left out. You know, so I had to add an extra row, and even then there were too many characters left out. So I just kept on adding, and I found a lot of really good. I found some really good tricks to really help the program be able to handle it. You know, because like my biggest problem with Pizzeria Simulator, and I'm just kicking myself, was that, you know, I wasn't utilizing some of the graphic features.
But the graphics were nice,
you know,
amazing.
Especially with the jump scares, you know, because I had these high resolution jump scares, and it would just run out of video memory. So that's why I had to just chop out frames. But there were just some really neat tricks, you know, to render them smaller and then scale them up for the sake of the game. And you really can't tell when you're playing it. They might look a little bit fuzzier, but they still look pretty high quality. But you know, it just allowed me to squeeze in all these characters and all these jump scares and just all this content. You know,
there's DD in the game
really seamlessly.
Was there any scrapped ideas at all for the game? So anything that you wanted in but you couldn't?
What was it though?
You just didn't like how it turned out?
No, whereas in some of the other games, yeah, there had been some different ways I considered taking it, but no, Ultimate Custom Night, there was really only the way that it could go, you know, and I kept on just kind of adding on to it.
Basically, he had all of his ideas into Ultimate
yeah,
Custom Night, and there's nothing left out anymore. Like, doesn't have any scrap ideas.
I'm going to give you credit where credit is due for coming up with the idea for being able to purchase new office skins.
That's the only
Because originally I had it to where they would just randomly pop up. You know, whenever I gave you that original test copy to play, you know, you had a 1% chance of each of those offices appearing, and
still had them.
You made a comment saying, "Hey, it'd be cool if you could unlock those." You know, and then I changed that, and now I think it's a great feature of the game. So
I hate DD.
Awesome. I feel like I've participated in something.
You did.
Yeah. No, I thought having the offices as a reward would be good, and I think you put the score amounts for each office like perfectly. So I think you just said that you were satisfied with the game, but are you satisfied with this possibly being the last game?
Oh, okay.
That you might create the last Fnaf.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I am. I really am. Starting with Five Nights at Freddy's 3, there was always something that I wasn't completely happy with, and that would become a core principle of the next game.
Yeah.
With 3, I wasn't completely happy with the jump scares, so I worked on 4. With 4, I wasn't completely happy with the storyline, so I made Sister Location. With Sister Location, I feel like it leaned a little too sci-fi and left a few plot points. Well, there were a few plot points that were really bothering people, so then I made Pizzeria Simulator.
Yes.
But then even with Pizzeria Simulator, even though I was really happy with the game, I don't know. I just felt like it needed a capstone. It needed some other bookend, just some experience. And Ultimate Custom Night brought in all of the characters, you know. And,
but there were barely any cutscenes, not too much.
I think so far it's been the best reviewed of the games, which thrills me. Of course, I'm really happy to see that everybody just seemed to really enjoy it. People have even welcomed a DD into their hearts after all this time.
People hate DD.
It took everyone a little bit of time, but I think everybody likes DD now.
Well,
no. Maybe not. No,
no.
I'm wrong. I'll tell you what, everybody just leave a comment in Dawko's video if you disagree. You hate DD.
Leave a comment after the stream if you hate DD.
She can just sometimes spawn at awkward times for me. I mean, with 50-20 mode, there was no stopping DD, so, I wasn't really bothered about...
There is no DD rip out.
Shadow D. Does she have a specific name? Should you say Shadow DD?
I named Shadow DD XOR.
XOR?
And I'm not sure why. But like with most of the other characters in this franchise, whenever I'm making them, some name immediately comes to mind. It doesn't mean anything, but that's the name of Shadow DD.
XOR.
Shadow DD.
Or is that
XOR.
People said that might be Zor, or is
Zor.
it XOR?
Zor.
It's just XOR.
Okay,
XOR.
Awesome. But yeah, XOR was just with the mechanics of 50-20 mode anyway, so you couldn't be annoyed with XOR because it was part of the mechanics on what to do to try and beat it. Speaking about 50-20 mode, have you tried it after the game has been released? You know it's possible now.
Oh no! Listen, my score, my high score is still just 6,800.
Oh, there we go.
Making custom nights, the tricky thing about it, and actually I only really had to worry about this here, but I know I've mentioned other times that anytime I've ever made a custom
6,200. Scott.
I've always assumed that the most difficult mode was impossible. I mean, because that was never the intent of the game. When making the game, there are always 5 nights, and I make sure that those nights are beatable. I make sure that the 6th night is beatable. I make sure that nightmare mode is beatable. But as far as as far as setting all the the difficulties all to 20, it's never been a goal to make it possible. And really, one of the main reasons is because if I ever get to a point where I could beat it, then everybody else would beat it within the first 12 hours of the game being released.
It's hard.
I mean, me being able to beat something is not a super high bar to clear as far as someone else being able to come along and beat it. With Ultimate Custom Night, it was really tricky because unlike the other games, there was a burden on me to make sure that it could be beaten. And this is one of the areas where I think all these years of designing games really benefited me, because even though I could never beat it, and I still can't beat it, everything was designed in such a way to where I was 99.9% confident that nothing was going to conflict with something else in a way to where it would genuinely make it impossible.
But people did it.
Okay,
there are some people who did it already and beat it. A lot of people.
One oversight might have been the whole issue of coin collection. Because I think I do agree that it might have actually been impossible to collect enough coins.
Yeah, I know. DJ Stone and Dawko beat it.
But other mechanics provided kind of a backdoor to solve that. You know, I mean, being able to keep something on your camera and them not moving, you know, that is intentional. It might have been, you know, used in ways that I hadn't intended, you know, but it was intentional, because obviously you don't want to have a character on screen and then suddenly pull down your screen and jump scare you. That would be teleporting. It gives you know, it's kind of immersion breaking if something is one place, you know. So the idea of locking them in place by watching them is a game mechanic, and it was used by everybody in a really clever way to kind of bypass mechanics that might have otherwise made the experience unplayable.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's awesome to know. So watching the plushies was intentional, where they couldn't get you.
It's actually pretty hard to manage the
I mean,
plushies, like,
well, you know, and like
plush trap.
Lefty there are several characters.
While you try to death coin Funtime Foxy.
Lefty will never attack you.
Indeed, he spawns.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been a feature in, I think, pretty much all of the games, or at least many of them.
Yeah, yeah. I think you could actually get 30 Faz coins, by the way. I didn't try that though, because what we did was we kept lifting up the monitor, which made BB and JJ unhelpy spawn.
Yeah.
So we just, you know, we could get 10 Faz coins for the death coin in literally 10 seconds.
That's insane.
I think it is possible to get.
But it's hard.
Plushies if you just, you know.
I think it was just like a month ago that someone finally beat Custom Night for Sister Location before the patch came out.
Oh,
you know,
yes, I saw that. Yeah, with the power.
You know, someone did that. So I'm sure that, you know, so who knows? Maybe 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years down the road, someone's going to take it upon themselves to beat Custom Night. You know, no death coin, buying all the plushes.
Ooh, that's hardcore. That's
really,
going to be insane.
And just really torment themselves with that, and that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's not going to be me. Just letting you know.
He's just not screw you.
It's not going to be you. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Well, I would do it in front of a bet, but you know.
No, you've served your time.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I would be able to, honestly. Maybe like for a charity stream, like
just try
something like that. I could maybe do something with it. But yeah, Ultimate Custom Night. One of my favourite games, by the way, in the series. It's on the top for me.
Good.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Because you can actually
nice
choose anything you
as
want.
well, Scott.
There.
Bringing them all together.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like it was a great send off to the game, and I think it's left a lot of people satisfied as well. Though that's a point I wanted to make. I'm satisfied, just letting you know that, and I think a lot of people are satisfied with this too. Like, you know, we understand that it's the last one, and yeah. Speaking of
final game,
that's all that matters to me. So I'm glad to hear that.
Awesome. You mentioned during the interview that you've watched MatPat's theories and stuff.
Oh.
Has there ever been a theorist or somebody you've watched on YouTube and you thought, you know what, this is actually quite close or like very accurate to the story I wanted to tell or something like that? Like if they were right, close to being right.
The main story.
Yeah, but I can't say anything whenever I see that.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, I can't jump in and confirm it because then people would stop caring at all. Then they would just wait for me to come out and give the answer.
Say something.
So
It's up to us to still discover
stuff.
stuff.
I would have to look at that comment and just kind of nod to myself, like, "You got it. You know, you got it right, friend." But
you can't say anything.
But no one's gonna ever know. You know?
Has that been hard to do that, to stop yourself from, you know, trying to reveal stuff? Because I remember a while ago, in the MatPat's live stream when we were all involved, you were putting things on the website about like some little hints and stuff to try and like guide us to the right direction.
Oh, so he did that while the live stream. That's interesting.
But we still never got it.
It has been difficult, and the times that I have tried to step in and say something have usually been mistakes.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the fun of it, right? You know, people, you know, the discussion is just as much fun as well. That's what it's all about. You know, people really enjoy that, and the times that I've stepped into, I don't know, I've learned to just focus on making the games.
Yeah,
And let the community do the talking,
concentration.
and they really enjoy that. But yeah, but sometimes I'll see, like I said, sometimes I'll see someone say something that was way out there, and I want to jump in and say, no, that's
Well, he
that's
can't
not,
do that, yeah.
Like one of the big things for a while was, you know, whenever Sister Location first came out, there was adult theory, you know, and you know, and I saw that, and I'm like, oh no, you know, and it wasn't completely off base. Like I could see where it was being derived from, so it's not like it was someone just trying to cause trouble for no reason. It was just a theory, but I was like I have to step in, like I have to do something to fix this right away, and my response to that, to fix it, evolved into, you know, a pretty simple solution. I would just release a new teaser that would just kind of steer it in the correct direction. You know, and that was the right way to handle it. It's not to directly interact with the community, but to just release a new teaser, you know, that just kind of guides it back. And I did that very soon, like within a couple of days after adult theory gaining popularity, and I kind of guided it back to where it was supposed to be. Yeah, and then like I said, sometimes someone would get a good idea, but I can't say anything about that either. You know, I just have to. I've just tried to monitor.
If there was just a possibility for you, Scott, to say something about Fnaf, like revealing something, but he can't.
The wrong idea. That usually means that, you know, sometimes it just means that I need to do a better job of storytelling, and then I try to use that as kind of course correction for the next thing that I do to guide the story the right way. You know,
the story is huge.
Have I ever been right on anything, like close to anything at all, or have I just been completely wrong for 4 years?
That's a difficult question to answer, because there are really two kinds of people there are two kinds of theorists. You know, one kind is the kind of viewer or member or whatever who takes all the known facts and only uses those to put together a storyline. You know, which is kind of what, you know, MatPat does.
MatPat has a lot of theories.
Is taking those few facts and then you just ad-libbing a lot more, taking more creative freedom as to where the story might go. You know, so in other words, one type is trying to figure out what happened, and the other type is that kind of tries to figure out what might happen, like after another 6 months or after another year, after the next game or whatever, you know, and then try to figure it all out. So one is much more speculative than the other. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So it's hard to, you know, that being the case, it's hard to gauge people as how right or how wrong they were whenever whenever a lot of people are, you know, obviously adding a lot more of their own imagination to the mix.
You need a quiet imagination for a cutscene or a particular story.
I cannot remember a time whenever I've watched one of your theory videos and just rolled my eyes like, oh my gosh, you know, he's lost it, you know. So
okay, I'll take that. Yeah, because I'm like I just do videos on just ideas and stuff. Like if I have an idea, I just say it, and because I like to try and make the community expand more. Do you know what I mean? Not just set their mind on one idea. Like, you know, with any theory, there's always multiple ideas to something, and that's what I tried to do with Ultimate Custom Night and stuff recently. Is try to give the community ideas to have their own.
Everybody has to create a theory, or at least some kind of a thinking about the game. What is yet not revealed.
Plan, because if he tries to go with other ideas and stuff, his audience start to think like, well, hold on here, you're going all over the place. You're telling us loads of ideas and not just one solid idea.
Well, I mean, he you know, he's got a lot more pressure on him, obviously, just because of, you know, the audience. You know, that goes with anything else. There's always going to be a lot more pressure on him, and a lot more scrutiny, and a lot more criticism, you know, focused on him. You know, I think he's managed it really well without.
Yeah, he has.
I think he's done really well. You know, and yeah, like I was saying, that's why it's hard to tell you if you've ever been really right or really wrong, because you lean more into the speculative crowd.
Yeah,
You add your theories are much more speculative about what could be going on rather than trying to put together solid timelines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Next question I'd like to ask is, how is the movie going? Because I know a lot of people have been wondering about this.
The movie's been going really well. The first few years of the franchise.
Can't wait, my dude.
Everybody was trying to get a movie out as fast as possible, like to catch the hype wave and stuff. But now looking back, I'm really glad that didn't happen, because something that I've really started to come to want over these last few years is I want that movie to be able to stand on its own as a good movie and not ride the coattails.
Maybe in the movie there's going to be something revealed. Who knows?
Because then, for instance, if you were to make a movie that just had the name Five Nights at Freddy's without a whole lot of emphasis on the quality of the movie itself, then yeah, if it happened during the peak of the popularity of Five Nights at Freddy's, it would do really well. But if the franchise as a whole, had waned a little bit, then the movie wouldn't do well either. Like, I want the movie to stand on its own. I want the movie to be good on its own right. I want it to be a great movie. And for that reason, I'm really glad it didn't happen in those first few years, because I think too much emphasis would have been placed on getting it out as fast as possible. And one of the challenges with the movie, and one of the reasons why it has taken so long, it's actually really difficult to make a script of this. I've had the privilege of working with a couple of studios now, obviously.
Golden Lane Studio, by the Fnaf message.
I've had a lot of scripts come across my desk. I've had a lot of ideas pitched. And, one of the biggest challenges, and I've written 3 scripts on my own. And I've struggled, honestly, with the same problem as lots of these other directors, which is just the fact that with 8 games, 5 books, including the
8 games and 5 books,
book and the
0 films. Where's film?
I forget the name
Freddy
of the
Files.
Yeah, exactly. So with the 8 games, 5 books, just over thousands of videos and fan theories and this and that and timelines and all that stuff. Too many, the people I worked with so far have either looked at it all, been completely overwhelmed, and decided to do something completely original, just start completely over, and obviously that doesn't work. And a couple other guys have tried to incorporate everything into some, master script that includes every aspect, every character,
of the game,
every idea, and obviously that doesn't work either, because then it's just a dumpster fire. It's just too
it
much.
Spins again.
2 hours, you can't do it. You cannot do it. And originally the script was going to be based on the books, which eventually I decided was not the
basically
way
we need to read the book to understand what's kind of going to be in the film.
For people who just wanted extra stories. They wanted a little bit more detail, more story, but that was never intended to be the definitive story of Five Nights at Freddy's. And people who go to see the movie aren't going to want to see a retelling of the books. They're going to want to see the first game. They're going to want to see a retelling of the story that got them interested in the first place. The first game had the right atmosphere, the right characters, and that's what people are going to want.
Maybe there's going to be other films.
Ideally, if the first movie does really well, I think it would work great as a trilogy. Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Exactly. Just what I said. That's what I just said.
I'm not going to go into the first movie with that mentality, though. I've seen too many good movies get kind of sidetracked by trying to set up future movies. I'm not gonna fall into that. I'm just gonna really focus on telling a good story with this first one. But yeah, I've seen some interesting things, and I'm gonna try to be really careful, not to sound critical of some of the ideas that I've seen, because like I said, there were a lot of challenges to writing a script for this, even for me, because there's just so much information. But there are some things that I'm really glad never made it. And one of them being that something that I actually heard on, I think it was a Matt Pat on a live stream, was musing about bad ideas that could potentially happen in a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And one of the ones that he just brushed off and laughed about was the idea of plush toys coming to life, and I heard that, and that's another time where I wanted to jump in and say something, but I knew that I couldn't, because that is something that actually could have happened. You know, it wasn't a full-blown script, but somebody had that idea and could have implemented it, and there wouldn't have been a whole lot that I could have done about it at the time. So that's a scary thought, and that's kind of the risk, you know, that's kind of the risk of not really understanding a franchise really well, and then trying to come up with something that's I don't know, that would have been that would have been really bad. But yeah, I heard
Come on, level it.
That
That's not right.
You have no idea, but that actually almost happened. That specific idea, plush toys coming to life and taking over Manhattan, that actually almost happened.
I actually kind of want to see that now, though.
Well, you know, I don't know. It just maybe it would work better with a different name, but
yeah, I mean the community's so talented and stuff. Maybe they could make a little cartoon or something.
An animation,
like an animation,
small animation
as a joke.
I don't know, man. but yeah, but in short though, I think that everything's where it needs to be right now. You know.
So what's next? What you got any future projects or anything?
Okay, let's listen.
That you're working on?
I'm gonna try to take life a little easier. I think I did finally get a couple of big deals signed with some companies, and I'll be able to provide details on that later. But there are a few big things in the works that are happening right now, which is the virtual reality game is going. And the augmented reality game is going.
New games.
I know most people, you know, the only example they can think of for augmented reality would be Pokemon Go.
Much like that.
But really, augmented reality game just means, you know, you hold up your phone and then
you
things
see
are
it.
kind of overlaid.
Yeah, but maybe some kind of a different plan.
It's kind of half and half between what you're really seeing and then something superimposed. So, I don't think it's not going to have any kind of, you know, you're not going to be running through the bushes in your neighbor's yard trying to catch
Pokemon. Like
that. You know, it's going to be something. I'm thinking it'll be kind of like a party game, something to do with your friends. You know, creeping through the dark. You know, creeping through your house, and then somebody's going to jump out at you. Yeah. But that's in the early stages. But I think it's going to be really cool. So that's in the works, and I'm in talks with a company right now to start porting Five Nights at Freddy's to some major consoles right now, and I'm going to hold off on that because, you know, until I have more details on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I'm really encouraged by that. For the longest time, I wasn't willing to sign on with any companies because I was keeping the series too tight under wraps. You know, I really wanted to be protective of the story. I didn't want other companies to come in and add characters. I didn't want other companies to come in and add storylines.
Yeah.
And I'm still.
It's all about the
my deals.
You can't reveal the
very,
stuff
very
yet.
Specific. You know, they don't have free reign to add storylines and characters. But I am more open to getting help now. You know, I'm more open to letting other companies do what I can't do. Like, you know, I don't know how to make an augmented reality game. I can't do that. I don't know how to make a virtual reality.
Because that's really hard.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm working really closely. You know, I've done my best to pick really good people to work with. So, yeah, good things.
Exciting, very exciting. So we've got these the VR, the AR, the movie, so possible console port. So yeah, really excited.
Good stuff. Good news.
So I think a lot of people are going to be excited for those, definitely. If you could get the second, I think you've just answered this, but this is a little bit different. If you could get a second chance to go back to 2013-14, would you do it all over again in the same way?
I don't know. I don't think I'd go back and. I mean, obviously there are little details I want to maybe polish up on, but no, I wouldn't change anything. I mean,
story's perfect.
You know, in 2014, I think I mentioned this on an online interview, but you know, I was considering making another Legacy of Flan game, which is some series I used to make, some obscure series I used to work on many years ago that like 2 people know about, or work on.
Small mini games, yeah.
work on the sequel to Desolate Hope, or make an indie horror game, featuring security cameras, and that was a long decision, and it could have gone any direction, and then I chose the indie horror game, and then same thing with the sequel. After I made the first one, I almost didn't make a sequel to it. I was considering 2 or 3 different game ideas, but no, everything turned out for the best. I think I wouldn't go back and mess with it.
Did your family, through the course of these years, give you any good ideas, or did they implement anything in any way, or influence the story?
Well, I will tell you, my oldest son Ian, he contributed an idea for the first game that has become iconic to the series, and the series could not go on without it.
Right.
And I need to take a moment to give him full credit for that. My son Ian, after they had been beta testing, I was like, hey, so do you guys have any suggestions for anything? Like, what do y'all think I should add to this? And Ian said, you should make it so that when you click on Freddy's nose, it honks.
Oh, yeah, that's from Sister Location. Like,
and I was like,
yeah,
oh,
you boop and then there's the noise.
Yeah.
So I added it in, and now the rest is history. Like a game can't go by without being able to click on Freddy's.
Especially for Sister Location, there's one on my phone that goes crazy.
So big shout out to Ian for
Thank you, Ian,
coming up with that.
What?
That's awesome.
But I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, it's just nice to have a support group. It's great to have people around you who just support you. Yeah, I mean, that's really the most important thing, even more important than directly contributing ideas. It's just people who are around you and love you and support you and encourage you to try one more time.
Honk. Scott's head
find anything more
got bigger.
than that.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. Yeah. Do you have any favourite games? I think you said before that you liked Mega Man, or am I completely wrong here?
All right. Well, I'm definitely a retro gamer. Whenever I pick a system to play on, I never go beyond Super Nintendo. So I'm stuck in 1993. I have my Nintendo and I have my Super Nintendo. All the games that I've played on those two. And I pick a game every once in a while that I'll try to really, master or whatever. Yeah, Mega Man 3 was my big accomplishment. I could play through that game buster only. Very proud of him. And only recently, I know this will be really random, but recently I found a new gem that defeated me as a kid, which is UN Squadron on Super Nintendo. It's a side-scrolling airplane game. Used to tear me apart as a kid, but now I've been really playing that every day and dedicating myself to it, and I beat it on normal mode. Now I'm fighting through on hard mode. Just whenever I get a chance. I don't have a whole lot of time to play games.
I mean, a few days ago, by the way, on the Reddit, a lot of people were posting things about your birthday, right?
Oh, by the way, when?
A lot of people would like to know when your birthday actually is, if you're allowed to say. It's just so we can say happy birthday.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of confusion about this. Yes, because depending on what year you would try to look me up, a different birthday would appear on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
In a different picture.
Yes, the original picture. Yep, I remember that.
So I'll just tell us right now. My birthday is February 31st.
February 31st.
For some reason, I've always thought it was like summer. For some reason. So February, awesome. Okay, so that's the wrap for the interview.
Okay. Apart
from one final thing, would you like to say any final thoughts to the people?
I think I would just like to make sure everybody out there knows how much I really appreciate this fan base, and just how much I appreciate all of the support. Before all this Five Nights at Freddy's stuff had started, and I had just made the Desolate Hope, I was online and I found one piece of fan art that someone had made of the Desolate Hope characters. Mm-hmm. Just randomly. I have no idea who it was. I have no idea what happened to that picture. But, that was so special to me, seeing that someone out there had enjoyed that game and drawn one of those characters.
That's already pretty cool.
Incredible to me. It made me feel so good. Made my day, made my week, made my month. And so now to be able to, go online and just see this, incredible community of people, with people that have 10 times the artistic talent as I do, with all this, with this fan art, these fan games. I mean, there are some incredible games out there, and I don't want to, like, I'm scared to mention names of anyone because I know that I'm going to leave out important ones.
Exactly.
But
there's too much.
I mean, like seeing these, insane games that Nixon comes up with.
Yeah.
And and I've always heard nothing but good things about, like, the storylines in Pop Goes. And then, the artistic direction of games like Flumpties.
Yeah.
And this, like, everybody has these specialties.
Scott is a big one. Yes, we do remember that.
The stuff that they make. And
we do.
And, like, you go into Game Jolt and just see these pages of all these really cool ones. And I picked out a few, but because those are probably the more experienced members of the community, but I don't want to overlook people who are up and coming game designers who decide to make fan games as their first game. And what an honor that is. What an incredible honor that is for someone to want to be a game developer and to have their first couple of games be a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game. It's just such an honor. And like I said, just the incredible artistic community, like on DeviantArt. And anytime I go on Reddit, just these illustrations that people make, and I've been fortunate enough.
There's a lot of fan art
a couple of those artists to do official artwork for me. But and the memes are great too.
Memes.
I've been very fortunate to see myself featured in memes. Not many people get to say that, and to see my characters featured in memes. So
there's always a positive side in the memes.
And just the YouTube community, just amazing. I mean,
Same.
you, Razbalki, the Ryans, Corey Kenshin, Fusion, just this whole community of great YouTubers have just been so supportive over the years. I'm just blessed. I'm just really blessed. This isn't so much a thank you as just I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to just be surrounded by just such an incredibly talented community. Yeah, it's just been an amazing experience. It really has been.
Very nice.
Yeah, and for many years to come, by the way, Scott, like, we'll always be supportive with the community and you, always.
Well, I'm going to try not to let you guys down, but I hope, I mean, I don't always get these things just right, but I hope everybody in the community believes at least that, just like what I said, how I've been trying to write this script. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean the movie's going to be perfect, and it doesn't mean that these next few games are going to be perfect, but I hope everybody at least believes that my number one goal is to make sure that I don't let anybody out there down. I know that
showing you right there.
Enjoy these characters, and enjoy these games, and that means the world to me. I'm just going to try not to let anybody down. That's always at the forefront of all of my thoughts, just making sure that I do right by everybody.
So yeah, thank you so much, Scott. I really do, really do appreciate it. It's been a long interview, and I really do appreciate the fact that you took the time to do this. It means a lot to me and everybody watching, of course.
Well, I hope I haven't misspoke anywhere. I hope the fan base will forgive me if I overcomplicate at some point. The last thing I want to do is start up a flame war
behind the chair again. It's just the why.
Taking something that I said. So once let me just make the disclaimer again. Like, no lore has been hidden in this interview. Like, this is all off the cuff. Nothing was pre-planned. And this is just some guy, talking about his experiences making the game series. So I hope nobody will read too much into that, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun, Lewis. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you very much. And yeah, and that's what the community's like, though. They try and think about things too much. So yeah.
Well, and I've done that. That's my fault. This is what I have created.
Nice games.
Curious people. I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about everything. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I
Last
really
20
hope
seconds.
that the interview has satisfied you.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of hype for this, so hopefully, like,
I mean, I enjoyed it literally. There was a lot of revealed.
Everything was perfect for you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks. Why, dawko? Hey, there we go. Okay. Let's do this. I hope you can see it. Okay, let's do 10-minute Q&A, lads. If you have any questions for me yet about FNAF or about what I think about it, or any questions, lads, I'm gonna be here with you and talk. If you have any questions for me left, I'll answer them right now. What do you thought about the main idea of this trailer? What do you thought about FNAF itself? Did you like the interview? Because I think the film's gonna be amazing. Literally, I think the film will be super cool. Like, for me, I think that a lot of stuff has been revealed. Scott didn't left out in Ultimate Custom Night. Everything was perfectly done, and everything was actually like he doesn't have any scrapped ideas in Ultimate Custom Night, and all he wanted to do was there. But I'm still curious. Why didn't dawko ask? Why didn't dawko ask Scott about the cutscenes in Ultimate Custom Night? That weird fox that in the Japanese version, like Omaiwa, like all these kind of Japanese words. Like maybe there was a hidden message there, but he didn't ask. That's why, like, why did he let that out? That's what I really wanted to interested in. Like, also one of the questions that I want to know about the cutscenes, Ultimate Custom Night, like the Japanese ones, which is actually pretty funny as well. Did you know FNAF 4 was released one day after my 8th birthday? Nope, I didn't know. Now I know. What was your favorite part in the interview? My favorite part when Scott was explaining the particular parts in every part in every part that he did, and dawko was asking, would you like to change anything what you've done there, like maybe some new animatronics or maybe some kind of story change, and when Scott was answering the stuff that he said, like he was being honest that he didn't left out, and he would do some scraps there and there, like improving maybe the graphics or something like that, but in general the storyline and the main animatronics he wouldn't change. That's what I mostly like, because I think that's the best answer that he could actually give the community of FNAF. Didi is scary. Who's your favorite character out of all in FNAF games? Well, as I said, particularly not long ago, I thought that Funtime Fox is gonna be my favorite character, but not long ago, I discovered the character called Shadow Toy Chica and Shadow Toy Bonnie, because they look so cool. Like especially Shadow Toy Chica with many tails, and like kind of shows like it's really cool. Shadow Toy Chica is really nice animatronic, and I think that's my favorite. What is character you most hate? Oh my god, I think I don't really remember. There was one character in FNAF 6, I don't remember. That was like a huge robot or FNAF World. I think that's from FNAF World. The kind of like a huge machine robot that is very ugly, and I was like, oh man, come on. Please show me. I have been trying to find the film for FNAF. I don't know where's FNAF film. I don't know any phone numbers as I heard from the live stream. Do you know FNAF? Any numbers like of dawko or any other like number? That's actually pretty strange. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions, I'm still here to answer, lads. What is the best you've gotten on FNAF Ultimate Custom Night? I think my high score was 6,000 or 7, because I activate all the side ones, the side animatronics. So yeah. One more question, because I need to leave soon. Which FNAF game was your favorite and least favorite? My least favorite was FNAF World, of course, and my most favorite is Sister Location still, yet, even after Ultimate Custom Night. My favorite game is FNAF Sister Location. Do you think you're... No, I'm not. I'm terrible at FNAF. I'm really terrible at FNAF. Like, if it comes to beating FNAF, I can't even beat, like, come on. I'm real terrible at FNAF, the game itself. There is no FNAF film yet, but Scott, yeah, there is not, no, not yet. What do you think, what's the FNAF movie going to be about? Mostly maybe revealing the first animatronics, like revealing the faces, revealing the story, when it all started, why is it like this? Because Scott himself told, like, he's gonna try to do next film connected with FNAF 1, particularly the first part, and when I said in the live stream that What about FNAF 2? Maybe he's gonna FNAF 3, FNAF 4. Literally after 30 seconds after that, Scott told that no, I'm not gonna do another films. I'm just gonna consider making a script for specifically one film. If you have read the Twisted Ones, what the creepiest? But nope, unfortunately, I didn't read the books yet, but I was planning to buy one on Amazon and try to read on my spare time. What do you think about Minecraft? I don't know what to say anymore. Like I don't know. No hate, no stuff. Yeah, we're talking about FNAF, but a nice game maybe. I don't know. Where's Shadow Freddy? Shadow Freddy in Bon Bon Films channel. There was some kind of moments from there, like mixed ones. I'm not sure if that's Shadow Freddy, but there was a lot of mixed ones, mixed animatronics in there. So yeah. Twisted Foxy or Nightmare Foxy? Nightmare Foxy, because Twisted is more like gore stuff. Did you get Scott's joke when he said that his birthday was I don't really know if that was a joke or if that was a serious stuff. You can actually officially check on Google Chrome if or any other browser if you go to Google and ask Scott Cawthon, born in this. Maybe that's true, who knows? Because Google usually tells the very truth birthday, like all that stuff. I'm done with the FNAF drawing. Okay. Also, lads, in case you don't know, I mostly sit in Discord, so if you just planned on, I don't know, joining the Discord server or talk to after me after the stream, I usually sit on Discord all the time. Like, anytime we go, like, anytime you want to do, say something, suggest a video, or promote your channel, you can do that on Discord server. So, particularly, if you want to chat with me after this live stream, I'm gonna be on Discord server all the time. I'm gonna be there. So yeah, I just want you to say thank you so much. Really, thank you so much. What do you think of FNAF World? Not the best part, really. I don't really enjoy it because there was completely different mechanics. But still, I'm not hating on FNAF World, but it's just completely different storyline and different graphics, different mechanics. February has 20. Oh my god, yes. Oh yes, I get it now. I just didn't thought about it. Yep. Definitely. I think dawko didn't know it as himself as well. Yeah, I just noticed that February has 28 days. Damn it. Oh my god. It's on Discord. Okay. I'm usually sitting on Discord every time, like when I'm uploading, when I'm editing videos, when I'm playing games, when I'm literally doing anything. When PC is on, when the computer is on, I'm on Discord all the time. So you got the links. You can check at this description. I'm always on Discord, so you can chat with me anytime you want. So I just send the link. There we go. Is there any questions you have, lads? If you know, that I'm gonna end up the live stream. Okay. Who's your favorite animatronics and favorite version? Shadow Toy Chica, as I said, Shadow Toy Chica. Not long ago, it's my favorite animatronics this far. Is FNAF World not liked very much by you because it's an RPG? I don't know. It's just it has a completely different mindset into it, like completely different mechanical styles and graphic styles, like from FNAF 3 and FNAF 4 and FNAF Sister Location, completely different style. Best live stream, thank you. New storyline. Who knows? What is your favorite nightmare animatronic? Nightmare Foxy, I think, because he has those teeth, hard teeth. Do you have any other favorite games other than FNAF? Yes, I do. If you're talking about online games, I play Terra mostly, and if you're talking about my favorite game of all time in my life, of course it's gonna be Max Payne 2. You maybe don't, a lot of you don't know this game, but it's a very old game, made by company Remedy, I think. And I played the game a lot of times. I played like 15 times the game. Max Payne 2. I love the game. Who's your favorite BB? More BB because DD is more screwable. What's for breakfast, Dad? Okay. What do you think of the animations for Scott? I didn't saw. I just saw like the small part of the screen on the interview. But yeah, not bad. Like 3D, and there was a story about the cat and the kittens. Really interesting. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna wrap this up. And yeah, lads, thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed this live stream, please, if you can, leave a like. Help me with the channel, please. I'm really grateful that you were here with me during the end of the live stream from the very beginning up until the very end. So yeah, lads, thank you so very much for watching. This will be a video in case some of you missed the video, or like, I will just upload. It will be on my channel very soon. Maybe after like 2 hours it will render and it will be uploaded on my channel automatically. So yeah, I'll see you on the Discord, lads. Join the Discord. I'm there. And again, thank you so very much for joining in and tuning in with me, lads. Be cool. Let's stay awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. So stay tuned. Bye, lads. Join the Discord. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye-bye.